Back in the day, travelers came to New Orleans by train and riverboat, so that the first part of the city they got to see was the CBD and the French Quarter. Today, a substantial amount of people commute to New Orleans every day through the longest bridge in the world, and the first part of New Orleans they see is the Lakefront Corridor. This is what the lakefront looks like today. But it didn't always look this way, and prior to the 1920s, this upper crust of New Orleans didn't even exist. Back then, there wasn't much to see on the lakefront, minus a few piers and beaches. One of the great fixtures at the lakefront was the old Spanish fort. Spain gradually acquired dominion of New Orleans in stages, secretly in 1762, publicly in 1764, politically in 1766, and militarily in 1769. The fort was built in 1769. The lakefront went through a period of being used for various recreational activities, until the Louisiana legislature decided in 1924 to develop the land. The decision was made in an effort to curb unhealthy conditions cultivated by the swamp, and also to provide better levee protection from flood disasters. From 1924 to 1930, the swamp was drained and pumped, and the neighborhoods of Lake Shore, Lake Vista, Lake Terrace, and Lake Oaks were born. The neighborhoods greatly accelerated migration away from the river and towards the lake. Today, the majority of the Lakefront Corridor sits above sea level, and some parts are even the highest elevations in the city. There are still many points of interest, including the last remnants of the Milneberg Resort, Milneberg Lighthouse, and even some remains of the old Spanish fort. One of the more interesting things about Lake Vista is its layout. As you can see, it has no thoroughfares, and is just a large concentration of cul-de-sacs that lead to the community center. The neighborhood was purposely built this way so that the back doors would be the primary entrances of the homes, and the primary way to get around the neighborhood was to walk. Since then, and with the proliferation of the car, Lake Vista has become a more traditional neighborhood where people exit and enter their homes from the street side. There also used to be a very popular amusement park here called Lake Pontchartrain Beach. Built in the 70s, it used to be one of the largest thrill parks in the South, but it could not compete with nearby Disney World, and it shut down in 1984. Greek Fest is another fixture of the Lakefront Corridor, and ever since the Greek Orthodox Church moved from North Georgianaw to Robert E. Lee Boulevard, it has been held every year since the move, and thousands of people flock every year to the springtime festival. By far the biggest point of interest, though, is the University of New Orleans. According to the GNO CDC, the University of New Orleans opened in 1958 as Louisiana State University in New Orleans, until the name change in 1974. It transitioned from being a 2-year to a full 4-year university in 1961. In 1964, in addition to the enlargement of the physical plant, the curriculum was expanded to include 6 academic colleges, a graduate school, and an evening division. Although the name of the university changed to the University of New Orleans, UNO, in 1974, it is still a part of the Louisiana State University system. One of the biggest selling points of UNO at the time was that it was the first fully integrated university in the South, but to some, the picture was not as pioneering as the UNO website would lead you to believe. Jerry Hoffman was a student at LSUNO in 1959, and she carries with her the unique perspective of a black woman who attended LSUNO the year it was integrated. She said, "All public school teachers for black students were also black up until that point. The opportunity to go into an integrated school was a chance to break away from that trend." However, she would soon find out that the extent of LSUNO's integration only went so far. Neither the cafeteria nor any of the gathering places were integrated, and students either had to go to the canteen or bring their own lunch. None of the professors were African American, and most of the white ones simply ignored the black students. One white professor who did open her office to African American students, Professor Macmillan, was found murdered, her body in the woods, in December of 1959. Jerry goes on to say, "The situation was so difficult for black students that the majority finished their education elsewhere, especially at SUNY. Other perspectives about life on the lakefront are equally enlightening. Casey Creel works at an upscale restaurant called Mondo, located at 900 Harrison Avenue. He says the lakefront has a history of catering to white affluence, from its times as an amusement park to the largely white makeup of its demographics today. Post-Katrina, many of the older white folks who have moved to the West, while their children move in and renovate their old homes. Josh Goodman, a PhD student at Tulane, offers another perspective on the changing demographics. In the same way I-10 has divided many historic neighborhoods in the Treme area, the construction of I-610 has contributed immensely to the migration patterns that have resulted in the homogeneity of the lakefront. Prior to its construction, I-610 was protested by the people of the affected neighborhoods. An alternate route through Lake Pontchartrain itself was proposed, but never adopted. The city council worried that protests of this nature would lead to a cancellation of the whole project, the way it did for the proposed bridge over Napoleon Avenue. But just because the neighborhood has turned out to be white and affluent does not mean that nobody cares. Martha Wickett, a resident of Lake Vista, says that after Katrina, people went out of their way to help one another. Construction-wise, she says, neighbors helped out neighbors. It brought a real sense of solidarity to the neighborhood. Thank you for listening to my presentation today. For more information, you can go to the GNO CDC website for more concrete figures and census data.
Baby, I'm hot just like an oven. I need some loving. And baby, I can't hold it much longer. It's getting stronger and stronger. And when I get that feeling, I want sexual healing. Sexual healing is good for me. Makes me feel so fine. Helps to relieve my mind. Sexual healing, baby, is good for me. Sexual healing is something that's good for me. Whenever bruises, drops are falling, and my emotional stability is leaving me, there is something I can do. I can get on the telephone and call you up, baby. Honey, I know you'll be there to relieve me. The love you give to me will free me. If you don't know the things you're dealing, ooh, I can tell you, darling, that it's sexual healing. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Let's make love tonight. Ooh. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, 'cause we do it right. Get up, wake up, get up, get up. Let's make love tonight.